Hello, viewers. I'm SB,
And I am Amabel.
and welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School, where we are. Someday we're going to finish this game of Humankind. We're heading toward the end of it. It's happening. And today we are talking about the siege at Caral. So as long as we have their capital under siege, it's very difficult for them to play the video game. There's something to be said for just sitting here and
Yeah.
sieging their capital. But it is worth noting that if we let them sortie and attack first, we're gonna be sad. I think the very limited ground that we get to cover here behooves us to attack early, even though it would certainly be beneficial to try to starve out some of their draftees because they will lose people over time. Militia units slowly lose their fighting resolve and will eventually disband based on the stability of the besieged city. We, in theory, would build trebuchets, but first of all, we don't have anywhere to put a trebuchet.
Okay.
And secondly, I'm not really sure that the strength of the 29 strength that a trebuchet has is going to be relevant to this situation. We have not picked up advanced siege weapon technology in a while. So I think we're just gonna roll out on them. We're gonna rely on our boats to do a fair amount of the work here. I don't know how this is gonna go, and if it goes badly, and we end up dead,
Well, that's one way it can go.
that's one way it can go, certainly. If I hit auto resolve, what happens? That's interesting. The auto resolver reckons they would be left with one with one crossbow, and we would be left with just our ships. I think that's probably the kind of outcome we're going to see here, where we lose our land force and we don't get the city. I don't think it actually is going to be a big deal for us if that does happen. We're still going to quote unquote win the war, because how are they going to ever get any reprisal against us, right? But let's see if we can make this happen.
Okay.
Waiting for confirmation from Supreme Ruler Mama Oklo. Okay, so it has chosen. See, this is the thing. I don't think you get to pick what order your units come out of your army in, because I would much rather have it be both of our Sapa Inca guards. But I guess the guard and the arquebusier is fine. And then we can't deploy any more units than that on land because we only have 2 tiles. And the reinforcements will come in as we call for them. So I think that is in fact deployment. So we are for sure going to spawn our ships in here. So we can just obliterate any of their units trivially with ships of this strength level. And this is a big deal in part because it allows us to enter the city. Ordinarily, we'd have to fight this this very uphill battle of doing melee combat against units that are getting fortification bonuses. As you can see here, these draftees at 34 strength getting +6 from fortification and an additional +3 from guardian. It puts them up like almost 2 full tiers of melee strength to be able to use the wall to fight us. But since we have punched a hole in their defenses here, we can just walk through, and now they have to play a very different sort of game. Right, as much as I don't love moving the arquebusiers, we do have to. They are a move or shoot unit. We definitely want that to be move in this case.
Yeah.
And then we need to get units out here. And what I want what is most important to me is to get a good cavalry charge on these crossbows. So we're gonna move these guys to here. Get ourselves a nice heavy cavalry. How do you do? That's what they call it. It's a technical term, a military term you might be unfamiliar with. the heavy cavalry how do you do. Now notice the next unit over here is... Oh, no, never mind. From the art, from the way they were standing, I thought that was the spear unit, and I was like, it might not be a good idea to execute another cavalry charge. But actually, fuck that shit. We're going. Oh, more crossbows. Fuck that. Yeah, those guys get it. There shall be no crossbows. So, yeah, high ground. Yeah, you can see these guys get a, these guys, they do love to fight inside their own territory. So we're not going to get quite as devastating a charge from our final guys, but I do think we want to move them in and make stuff happen here.
Okay.
And then... Yeah, so our ships have done a good job sort of opening this up. This would have been a miserable combat otherwise. Do I want to make the attack again across the wall here? It's still positive for us. We have to be a little bit careful about our overall health level as a resource to be managed, because they do have twice as many bodies as we do. So even trading up is not necessarily good enough if you're not trading up enough, you know? But I think I am going to take this. That didn't really work out all that well. Okay, but we actually get to apply all of our units because of our ships being able to crack the corner of their formation, and that's a big deal. So they have additional troops coming ashore. Yep, and they have some actual positive combat going on in here. In particular, these locations where they're able to bring people around on the knights that are on lower ground than their surrounding tiles.
Yeah.
But on the whole, it's not going to be too bad. The arquebus will keep the beach clear for the most part. And then, like, these horses are in a lot of trouble.
Now, can your boats help at all with that?
Oh yeah. I'm just trying to figure out like what we're doing with these horses. Okay, so there's the rice laufer. This is one of the core problems that we need to solve. This is the best unit they have by a large margin. Most of our boats, the two man o' wars, are still like direct fire, but the ironclad has indirect shatter, and so it can arc over. And I think we gotta use the ironclad to pick at the maximum damage. That was pretty lucky. Yeah, we gotta use that to pick at the crossbows, or not the crossbows, at the spears, to get them out of there so that the horses have a chance to do their thing. And then you, I think, currently don't actually have a shootable target from here. Yeah, we're gonna have to move around the side a little bit. That's interesting. So you notice it highlights them in red when they're targetable from a space. It's interesting that the, like from right here, we have that guy targetable. I guess this guy's not targetable from any of these spaces because this tile is foggy. You notice?
Okay.
It doesn't really make sense, though. I should be able to shoot from here across the land. I mean, whatever. It's not a big deal. I'll take it if it's what we got. I could kill the draftees inside the walls instead. Because the guys who are in the boats are really not a danger to us right now, and when they get on land, it consumes all of their action to get them onto land. They can't like land and attack because it's not. They can do that via a harbor, but on a space that's not built for transport, they can't do that. So, so they're just not very intimidating here. Like they won't be able to do any damage next turn. So taking care of them is not a high priority. If we go ahead and attack this way with the Inca, that'll let us walk over the wall here. And now we have their flag. Just to keep the rules of the combat system clear. Like, they're in a bad way. They need to take this flag back.
Right.
I think I'm going to back the injured knights off so that we can get a clean charge on the crossbows here with knights that are not currently adjacent to them. And then I'm going to have these guys just charged into the pikes. Inadvisable broadly, but they are badly injured, and they will. It is a downhill charge.
Okay.
So you can see it's estimating a slightly positive trade. Yeah. I think that's all right. Again, I'm trying to be careful with our total HP here. All right, so this ship is left with nothing to do except shoot at guys in the water, so I guess that's what we'll do with it. Yeah, like I said, I've got to manage our total HP because they could absolutely just wear us down with inferior units. But I think we've done enough damage at this point that they can't win the battle that way anymore. There's not enough inferior units still alive. Okay. I thought there were probably units in the north end of the city, so I moved that cavalry unit to here and no further to try to get them caught in the bottleneck if they were coming up behind us, because that'll offer us a nice charging position. All right, and then we fire into the city. We are devastating their fortifications while we're doing this. Not that it matters. What is left? Are these both? Okay, these units are both just draftees, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, let me bring this around and shoot at the healthier one, I guess. Because we have the downhill attack on these guys. And that's their whole force, right? Yeah, I think the math of the auto-resolver was dramatically underestimating the effectiveness of the ships. Dramatically underestimating the effect those ships were going to have on that battle. Okay. So we can talk peace now. Okay, here we go. Our war score is 150 because we, own their capital now, which is worth a lot of war score. 6 territories with occupied enemy cities. So let's talk about what we want here. It would take 125 war score to keep Caral.
Okay.
So, I want Chang'an. Hold on a second. What is the name of the region? This region is... where's the region name? I actually don't see the name of the region. It's not in the tooltips, right? Coastal water...
Yeah.
Bloody hell. I want this stuff up here. I don't necessarily need their capital. I'm willing to give them back their capital as a way of just, keeping the situation somewhat complicated. And the thing is, we can't take their capital and everything else. We don't have enough points. We could vassalize them, but I don't particularly want,
Yeah.
So Tianyi must be adjacent to something you're already asking for. If I click on this, no, it doesn't show me. Oh, there's a button. There's a button. Okay, here we go. This is what I want.
Oh, you found it. Okay.
Okay.
I was trying to look it up.
Wirin and Suan I would like. And Chang'an. Hueto and Alathfar are over there on that continent. I'm not interested. Yeah, so this is we take the islands and we leave them with basically everything that's on the mainland.
Okay.
And that costs us in total 75 of our 150 war score. And we take the rest out in just reparations.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, because I don't want to actually manage shit on their continent. I guess, like, is there a way... No, like, the stuff on their continent wouldn't even be useful as a foothold against black or anything, because it's on the wrong landmass, and... Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the terms.
You're one of the good ones.
All right.
Thank you.
Revel in your victory. We surrender.
Okay, so we're making some money for a while. Get some reparations there. We will be leaving your territory presently. And Chang'an is probably in pretty bad shape here. We could, in theory, build a floating market. We have now some regions in which we do not have floating markets. I got to figure out how we want to run this, though. Hold on, because we're over our city cap. So let's talk about borders here. Chang'an taking over these, I guess, is like an okay way to... We just add this city and make this whole thing that city.
But you want to do that in...
Yeah, I guess I want to do that in the next era. You're right.
Right, yeah. So is now the time to switch then?
That's
How
interesting.
are we on How are we on the stars?
We're quite close to another aesthetic star. Well, I say quite close. We're like 7 turns off of another aesthetic star. We're not near another tech star. We're not super far off of an agrarian star, actually. 16 more population with the number of cities we have is not a tremendous amount of time. We are 35k away from the next merchant star, but we are making almost 3,000 gold per turn now with the reparations. So, and giving Chang'an a little bit of time to recover into stability, into building stability mode, so that we can then build a bunch of floating markets before this is no longer our emblematic district, I think has some value.
Okay. Let's do that then.
Yeah, so I think we're going to hang out for a while. So let's build some stuff that would be helpful here. Yeah, a high furnace would be 26 industry in this city. See, it's interesting. It says, like, resource yields would not be affected by this infrastructure, but we can see that this city has a ton of river tiles. It's very strange. Okay, they have... Yeah, some stuff. All right, I mean, let's definitely get the high furnace going. I'm going to go ahead and build these. You know what? Even if they don't do anything, I think they do. But even if they don't, let's just build them to get them built, and we'll try to also run through here. Stability per researchers. Oh, this city is not running its population the way I would like. That's not helpful. Okay. That'll give it some stuff to do for a couple of turns, and obviously we can just buy that stuff out if we want. You know what? I'm going to buy the furnace out for sure. Let's get stuff done quickly. Okay, and yeah, let's bring our people home. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a walk for... No, I don't want to make a war. I'm trying to leave. Okay, you can only make that move if you deliver it as part of a movement toward your territory. So we're gonna have this thing where we're losing health every turn while we're still in her territory. And unfortunately, these units, where our transport ships still are not good at deep water. So we may legitimately lose our entire army trying to get it out of her territory safely. The boats will be fine. The boats we can just bounce out of the shallow water real quick. But this is what happens when you don't pay attention to your sort of like basic infrastructure technologies.
Yeah.
There are prices to be paid. My demands have been refused.
Yes, greetings. I hope you don't
Oh, right, you. Okay, hold on a second. We'll deal with this in a moment. Mama Uklo has forgiven our trespassing. Our trespassing. It's nice of her. Yeah, so get this. And then we probably want to just build like some science stuff for this city until such time as it is recovered enough to build districts. One thing that's a little bit of a bummer is like when a city's not mine, it's a little hard for me to tell. Okay, so it says only 5 stability. There's 1 garrison in the city, so that's not exciting. I appreciate that they do just like, if you did this right now, it would give you 21 science. I appreciate that they do that math for you, because not every game is like that. Okay, our resources are selling very rapidly. Somebody's buying a lot of resources. I assume it's green. No, actually it's brown. I guess brown just like came into a bunch of money or something. Brown is buying a lot of resource access and making us absurdly filthy rich in doing so, which I really do appreciate. Okay. So our ships, our navy is back in friendly territory. Jeez. As the turn goes on, more and more and more purchases. Yeah, Black is sort of calling our bluff here. They want to say, withdraw all these demands or go to war with me. Now, we are rated as much less powerful than them.
Yeah.
They see us as their closest challenger, which is sensible. But I don't know that we are much less powerful than, like, it's hard to say, right? Because what's being communicated there is that they have a lot of units, but like they're still a tier behind us in terms of naval technology. They're in Era 5, but they clearly are still rocking like Carracks and stuff. They probably have a lot of units, but it is worth remembering that we do have 2 full armies still on this landmass.
Mm-hmm.
As well as a steam frigate. And I forgot about this boat that I'd parked over here. These other ships, it's going to take a minute for these other ships to get back into play position. But like if we did end up going to war with them right now with the amount of income we have at the moment, I think we'd probably be okay. We're probably okay. Do we want to just drop right into another war?
That's your call, sweetie.
We're finishing the wonder, so it'll be all of these cities will have nothing of immediate import to build. We can absolutely just build troops.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think that this is the move. The agrarian stars is worth noting. It's 234 population and or units. So when we convert population into military units, we're effectively creating room in cities underneath the food cap. So it actually increases the birth rate.
Okay, that's...
This is sort of a weird knock-on effect of the way those systems work. So that will actually accelerate our growth toward this agrarian star as long as we're not actively losing people in combat,
Yeah.
So here's my thinking, my pitch, is that we can probably pretty easily take an agrarian star and an aesthete star, and then see where we're at on them. I don't think the merchant star might be too far away. Like it might be time to start thinking about going up. Where are we on the technologies? Yeah. We're still, we're still not through electricity. It takes so long to do science. We don't have line formation. We don't, jeez, Amabel.
Yeah.
We are still nowhere near having our Gatling elephants. I say we declare. Are you still at war with Brown? You are. Okay. So this probably also helps take some pressure off of Brown.
I made demands. Reasonable ones. But it seems you want more!
Let me be clear. Rectify this, or I will rectify things for you.
I refuse.
You're out of your mind!
I refuse.
Teasing me, huh? The answer's no.
Maybe I was hasty in my demands. Forget them.
That's what I fucking thought. My army is still on your shore. Like,
Ah, you know your place in the pecking order.
that's a really bad bluff, lady. We could just turn the boats around and knock your capital over again. Like, what are you thinking? Actually, it would probably save some lives because as it is, we're gonna have troops die before we make it back to friendly territory. But if we go to war with her, we're no longer suffering this penalty. Okay, so we're formally at war with Black. I don't know. I think these two armies are. This is not the right continent. I think these two armies are as updated as they can be. Right? Yeah, we haven't learned any new troops since the last time we poured money into them. So when we finish the Royal Palace here, we can start looking at what we want to put toward the war effort.
It is a strange juxtaposition. The Occidental architecture in a Polynesian culture, but it is a striking one.
If you say so, boss. The people of Aachen do not have enough food to keep growing. An administrative center was disrupted by a foreign agent. What does that mean? The district will remain inactive for 5 turns due to hostile spy activity. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm not as like well versed in the espionage stuff as maybe I could be. Okay, so these ships need to make it over to a place where they're going to be useful, and that's going to take a while. Or maybe they don't, you know, maybe these ships, we keep them over on this side. Because we can never tell what Green's going to do.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just our Western Navy. We just produce new ships in the East. We do have that harbor. That super harbor that exists pretty much for that purpose. Yeah, I think we'll just keep these ships over here then. Yeah, so let's talk about what are we doing in the cities. My Canadian is looking a little negative on food, so it probably behooves us to build some forces here. Getting a little bit more industry tech down. Probably fairly valuable. Oh, we have a bunch of science buildings. Yeah, jeez. Well, let's get at least one military unit out, so that we're solving the population a little bit. I don't hate just producing an Inca guard, and then we'll get on science stuff for a little while. This city in particular, like these cities that are on the back side of the continent, the west side of the continent, don't need to be in like full-time troop production mode. We could build some railroads as well, so for the movement of troops, which is a thing I've totally forgotten to do in most of these cities because we were busy. We were doing other things. Right now we have 2 full-sized armies. How many 7-unit armies do we want to have on hand? Because we are paying upkeep and stuff for those, and obviously each one of them costs some amount of population to construct. I'm gonna put in unit orders for at least another 1. We'll kind of spread the population hit across these cities a little bit. So like we're gonna want some arquebusiers, we're gonna want some Inca guards, we're gonna want some Teutonic Knights. And these cities over here on this continent can mostly like continue to build out districts and stuff. Sidon's still actively growing, so I'm inclined to let them continue. Yeah, we can pull 15 food out of the... Yeah, this place is not... This place is not fully improved yet. I want to make sure we're getting the most valuable non-district improvements around here too before we move on, because once we kick over to the new era, we're going to want to focus on district improvements, right?
Yeah.
Until we get the new builder stars. Knossos is a place where we can build some more of these. All right. Oh, right, except somewhere I was supposed to build ships. I guess Sidon is the place with the good harbor. So this is where those should be happening. Okay, so maybe don't build this right now. We can just rush the fishery. That's fine. Let's talk about a steam frigate, which is a 60 strength escort ship versus these ironclad. I mean, the ironclads are fucking terrifying. It is 6 population jammed down into 1 unit, and it costs $20,000 to rush one. All right, here's my plan. We're going to make a steam frigate, and on the turn the steam frigate finishes, we will also money rush the ironclad. And that way we'll put 2 large ships out of the harbor on the same turn and start projecting force over here. And that's gonna, it's like, it says, the Agrarian Star says population or units, right? So my assumption is that a boat that costs you 6 points of population only counts as 1 unit, because it is just 1 unit regardless of the number of bodies that it consumed.
Okay.
So at first, as we're building the, we'll see that number go down, but then we'll see it punch back up as the food kicks back in.
Lightning in a bottle. This new power will impact every aspect of society, from public safety to industrial production. Change is coming.
And it's just a whole lot of extra resources on every city that's already built coal refineries. So that's a big deal. Also, a reduction on the industry cost of market quarters. Hooray! Okay, we were the first to discover electricity. That is worth some fame. Okay, you are coming forward to just join this army. And do we see... I'm just going to try to keep a better eye out this time, be a little bit less surprised by armies showing up on our doorstep. So if we look at what Black's rolling with now, he's got 51 strength musketeers, 46 strength halberdiers. All right, so he's got much better land units than he used to. Or she, right? Is it Black? Yeah, she.
Tell me about
She's got much better land units than she used to, and in fact, better land units than we have. Not by a huge amount, but
Yeah, but pretty soon we're gonna have elephants. With
No.
machine guns.
No, not soon. This is what I keep telling you.
Turns. Like 20 turns.
Yeah, like 20 turns. So if we click trench warfare now, it still doesn't want to take the path through guerrilla warfare. It wants to take the path through line formation.
No, that's not right.
It might be right. I don't...
No, I feel like guerrilla warfare is gonna be so much faster.
So yeah, this is 16 turns. Yeah, it's definitely faster to do it the other way.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is 16 turns.
Yeah, this is faster. For
Okay.
sure. I have to enter it manually because it doesn't want to do it this way. The Gatling elephants at 58 strength will terribly embarrass anything she's able to put on the ground. But it is going to be 16 turns. We just have to hope she doesn't land, you know, two full combat groups of those kinds of units on our shore, and that if she tries, we're able to intercept her with some of our own naval vessels, because we do have at least a little bit of naval ability out in this body of water. I'm gonna try to like put us a little bit more central, but honestly, like, it's a lot of area for one ship to play goalie over, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so she's got like small individual ships. How's Brown's army doing? Okay, Brown's army's keeping up though. Musketeers, winged hussars, their own normal halberds. Brown is at least on par tech wise.
Greetings.
Excuse me.
What shall we discuss?
I was
gonna be friends
thinking,
again?
wouldn't it be sick if we both had 5% more science?
A very
Lady.
generous proposal.
We will
Why?
consider this.
Why do you hate me so much that you also hate yourself?
She's pleasant. What is her issue?
Pleasant is not the word I would use to describe the things she's doing to us.
I know.
Yeah, she's being very weird. Okay, we will deliver 4 of our military units home.
That's not terrible.
Yeah, it's not great. Where do we want to be the gathering place for this new force? I guess like somewhere around Knossos. Yeah, let's do this. Again, it's good and central. All right, who else? You guys can run down here. Why are you blocked? Doesn't actually say. Cannot be done when the city spawn point is full. Oh, okay. First of all, I don't think that it didn't seem to be a problem for the last unit we built, but okay. Does this city just have, this city has 3 unit spawn points. You would think if one of them was full, it would just bounce them default to the others, but I guess whatever, it doesn't matter. Those guys can wait 1 tile north of where they had been waiting previous. It's fine. Not going to harm anybody. Out of curiosity here. Oh, yeah, we should throw in a quick charcoal kiln. All right, so we're going to get this aesthetic star.
Farmer's quarters. Not sure if I should congratulate you or burp and rub my belly.
How does that make what?
Death from starvation. It seems that these are the times that try a people's dietary habits.
Okay, we are losing population over here. And this is not like a super convenient place to make anything, really. Can we just build some more food districts? Yeah, over here we have a nice mountain adjacency we can take advantage of, and in fact, we can purchase on that and just get that live now. Okay. This thing is just going to continue waiting. Okay, you guys have hit your new rest point. Yeah, you guys are waiting here for new units to be added. Yeah, we have some like really large yields from things that we haven't built yet, just because like we got we got so focused on districts and military units for such a long time. We're actually kind of behind on our infrastructural type stuff a little bit. Gosh, Cusco's doing all right.
Yeah.
What an extremely built up region. And the funny thing is, yeah, we can still build like a lot more food income. Did you know that we are able to move on to a new era? It's true. So, okay, we came up 300 influence short. So next turn we'll get the the aesthete star. We're working toward that merchant star. Our read on the agrarian star is currently 215. So we lost a handful of units as the military units, or a handful of population as the military units started building. But it's all going to recover, and quickly. See, they are moving stuff up here. So my steam frigate is strength 60 against a bunch of strength 59 Carracks. These are actually not, they're not totally out of line. Yeah, wow. Why are they so powerful? She must have some kind of bonuses applying to these, because this is not their normal combat strength.
You come to talk? I
She
will
feels
listen.
friendly. Okay. Now, when you say friendly, does that mean scientific exchange? I'm going to pay some influence to rush this out here.
Generous. A very
She says we'll do it for money. You know what?
We might.
I'll take that.
most glorious.
And I'll even renounce my
Oh,
ability to declare war on you about our treaty proposals. You know what? I'm going to rush this boat out too. And then we're going to start building the next one. Try to get a functional navy going there. Pressing matters. Every year, the great population of your empire, contented in their essential needs, clamor for more and more titillating news stories. It has become clear that should you choose, these stories could help shape public perception. So, should the news be controlled by the government? We can lean in on some freedom of speech stuff here. Societal progress relies on people speaking truth to power, which would get us all the way back over to the liberty side of the axis and get us our influence back. Which is good and fine. Or we can go into propaganda. Masses need simple stories for the good of the empire, and what that means is +1 war support per turn. Which I think is a level of honesty about what the word empire means that you certainly aren't going to get from Civ.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're going this way.
If different
Yeah.
opinions can't be heard, people might end up believing whatever ridiculous things the government says.
Can you imagine?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm glad we live in a society where the press speaks truth to power and isn't like a willing collaborator of fascism. Love to be a trans person in 2025.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right, let's build some more infrastructure stuff. We should, in theory, get aggressive on them when we can. I'm not 100% sure, like, what my plan is for that. Because if they have better land troops than we do, like, is my plan for that wait until we have elephants? I don't love that. It's not the worst plan ever. So we are 15k away from this merchant star. are gaining population. We are gaining military units. Okay, their ships turned around. Seems like they thought better of it once there suddenly were a bunch of boats up here. But we really don't have any kind of like dominant. Oh, those two rebel units have finally decided to attack a city. Well, this continent's army is on its way home. Like, we're close. We're almost in the harbor of Chang'an. So what goes on here? Like, obviously, okay, they've attacked. This isn't just a we'll take the instant resolve. That wasn't them starting a siege. That was they rolled up and actually launched the attack, which is no problem to deal with.
Not the smartest thing for them.
Yeah, but this is very frequently the behavior of like units that are not controlled by a player. They just run at whatever is nearby.
Yeah.
All right, so Asandivat is generating more population. Has a couple of real quick builds we can use to push that forward, but it turns out we are not quite on a full army here. So this army could use like guns, more guns. Do we want to just put together 2 more arquebusiers real quick? Like, yeah, one from here and one from Knossos probably. Take you 3 turns. That's fine. Okay. I'm going to keep these ships here for the moment. Our ally is sending us pings. By the way, notice that they create these markers and we are able to see them.
Okay.
Our districts are being messed with by spies, but not in a way that like really matters. So very small scale effects, unfortunately for the spies. Yeah, geez, they have a lot of high strength Carracks, but not a lot else going on. It looks like the army here is still kind of running around Brown's territory, but not doing anything that is terribly offensive to Brown, because Brown's superior force would have repelled them. I'm not really sure what's going on here. They're all behaving very strangely. Yeah, I don't... okay, here we go. They finally started to land troops on our side. Not very impressive armies, though. Okay, so let us respond. We have a decent force real nearby. And a backup army. And then another army in Byblos. Okay, yeah, but they're finally like making a move. So if we were to attack here, these guys are not in reinforcement range yet. We want to make sure we have the move planned for the beginning of the turn. Okay, you guys, I think this army is going to just park on this continent. Probably.
It's so bizarre they're not in range when the whole ocean was in range for...
But boats move fast. Have you considered? The thing about boat is boat go fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a little bit of a shame that the strait is so narrow. Like, it's very easy for them to get in their boats one turn and then be all the way across on the other shore the next turn. That doesn't give me a lot of time to interdict.
Yeah. Who knew that geography would be such an important factor in wars and history and the development of societies?
Yeah, bizarre. It's a bizarre idea. All right, so let's see if we can bully these guys. All right, they have accepted the retreat, and we shall pursue. Okay. It's weird that the move order that I'm giving them is not remaining on the ground. They probably still have it, but it's weird that it's not, you know. Usually it stays visible on the map. It makes me a little nervous that it's not actually active.
Yeah.
Okay. We have urgent affairs. Night Stalker. The heaving metropolis of Cuzco sprawls across the landscape, its vast working population wedged into every pocket of space, from industrial shanties to market-side slums. Every day, many of its citizens travel far and wide, and sometimes find themselves lost in the wrong part of town. Perfect hunting grounds for a murderer. And now one stalks the night. Statistically, probably like a bunch, actually, right? Like,
Yeah.
math-wise. 13 victims struck down over the last 3 months. The citizens are terrified. What will you do? What are 13 small lives among hundreds of thousands? Chance of terrible consequences. Well, I guess we'll install street lamps. That'll help put the citizens' minds at ease, and the cost is a rounding error, so...
You know, it's interesting that all the kind of random events are decision points.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's always like, well, here's a problem, and what are you going to do about it? Instead of like, well, some shit happened. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear what you're
You
saying.
know.
So, rapidly pushing up on that agrarian star, like I said. I think once we wrap these two, it's time to move on, probably.
It's time to move on. Yeah.
Okay. Let's try to get him. Okay, they don't get to escape this time. If we go for the instant resolve, it's weird. It's like showing a result and then losing the result immediately after. If we take an instant resolution here, it looks like it kills one of my units. Do we think we can do better? Do we think it's worth the time spent to do better?
And just instant resolve that one.
Oh, we got a unit of spies has been revealed up here, and they will of course be annihilated by our very cool castle citadel thing. I think we should just eat it.
Yeah. Unless you want to fight the battle.
No,
I
it's all right. It's all
I don't
right.
mind watching that, but I know how you are.
Okay, so we
Now,
should
once
make
we get
a
our elephant, I
should-
want to see battles.
Okay. We should replace that unit, I think. All right, Sidon probably should be actually producing its units here at the big harbor, right? Because positionally, that's why we built that. Is because it's a good spot for dropping stuff off. So we're gonna try to merge our naval units up around there. You can just hang out. You guys are probably sleeping here for a while. At some point, perhaps we should build the damn embassy. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that a thing that's worth doing? Here's a question. Is there a city that needs it particularly? We're pretty high on stability in most places. Chang'an is not doing a great job of remaining stable. What's Chang'an's deal? Okay, the Chang'an's deal is that it is working on it. Speaking of Chang'an's deal, we do want to build our unique district here. So it doesn't much matter where we build it then. I'm going to put it in my Kine. Yeah, we'll just like tack it up here. Okay, other cities can throw in. It doesn't need to take forever. But we should probably have access to diplomatic actions. It's probably smart. All right, guerrilla warfare is researched. We are closer still to elephants, Amabel.
Yes. 7 turns away.
7 turns away from the ability to construct them. Keep in mind.
Oh no, you're just gonna buy them right out. Let me tell you. You got all
They're
that money, you gotta use it.
they're probably going to be pretty expensive.
Good.
What do you mean good? Why is that good?
I'm a high class baby. I need luxury goods. Luxury elephants. You spoil me.
Luxuriofants.
No.
No, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. No.
So I'm a little nervous about this actually. They have 14 of these like weirdly strong Carracks right next to each other. And
Yeah.
I don't think we
Yeah,
can
no,
move
that-
our ships into that.
No, that sounds like a bad time for you.
I don't understand where they're getting all these combat bonuses from. Yeah, I want to unite our ships, but I think I'm going to pull back a little bit here. We are not in charge of the ocean right now. They are in charge of the ocean. So really would be rather difficult to argue with at this point. That said, every time they come up on land, we're going to humiliate them. So we're probably bleeding war support faster than they are, though.
Would be more appropriate.
Yeah, they still have a pacifist tag.
Yeah.
Well, we can afford to sit here mostly passive building up at war for a while.
Yeah.
And so I think we shall.
What is the strength of their Carac again?
59.
Okay, yeah, because I just looked it up and it's 52 normally, so they do
Yeah.
have like a 5 bonus.
Yes, these ones, the ones with no veterancy stars are at 57. Is it just her combat bonuses? +3 on emblematic units. +4 on militia. So her cities are going to be really annoying to take. Which is fine. We don't necessarily need to do a lot of that. Okay, we're maintaining roughly 2k ahead of her as we continue to scrounge. All right, markets are being disrupted by foreign agents. Stuff's happening. Ah, okay, hold on. When one of your allies is involved in a battle, you can join their forces. The battle must be within range, and you must move your armies onto the battlefield. As in your own battles, your units will take damage if they are hit. What an odd thing to include. If the battle opposes 2 of your allies, you will break the alliance with the empire you do not wish to reinforce. Okay, understood. I mean, I would decline, obviously, to engage in this. That their unit's just going to run away. There's no reason to complicate that. That is not a real engagement. All right, so one of these armies should hang out over there, and the other one, I guess, can just hang out in Asandabat. All right, looks like that gold star is coming in next turn. We're still 7 population away from the agrarian star with Let's see. How many points of population are we gaining on this coming turn? Holy crow. In a Sandivat, the whale fishing infrastructure is worth 34 food. So let's see here. We're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 points of population on this next turn. And we're not too far off of population. Like, this is going to be a small number of turns.
Okay. And then after that, we should
Yeah, and then we should move
jump to the next.
So this city probably, honestly, builds another farmer's quarter. Like, there's a little bit of farmland left. And like I said, these guys are going to sit back because I'm actually kind of scared of their navy due to my natural cowardice.
It also gets fear of water.
Well,
You don't want to be on boats.
it is true that I am quite thalassophobic. I do not think that's really playing into what's going on here. But I can understand why you would want to make that connection, how that makes sense.
I mean,
A new wonder
I'm not
claimed. Are you sure?
maybe.
How's a new wonder claim? What happened to these? Huh. Some old wonders can be claimed. That's weird. Well, they're certainly not bad. So yeah, like I said, we're 3 population away now. Do I want to grab, what would it cost? It would be 20,000. So it would actually be, we probably shouldn't claim one of these because we should wait to claim one of the new
One
era.
of the good ones in the next. Yeah.
Okay, they have brought a single ship of theirs, a single one of their steam frigates against a single one of my steam frigates. Theirs has 2 more combat strength than mine does. So this feels like it's pretty much just a straight retreat. Doesn't seem like we need to do anything fancy here. Where does our unit end up retreating to? Yeah, the fact that their boats are worth more than mine on a 1-to-1 basis is going to make this a little complicated. I wonder if they're clearing the way for landing an army. Chang'an, just help out with the embassy. All right, so of the cities who put out a point of population last turn. Let's see, we have 1 more coming in next turn. 1 in 2 turns, 1 in 2 turns, 1 in 2 turns. Okay, so we'll get 2 points of population next turn and another 1 the turn after that, and that'll finish.
Okay.
Another 2 the turn after that, and that'll finish off that star. So I think that's where I'd like to end the episode. Like at the moment
Yeah.
we're about to pick the next thing.
No, I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay. I'm trying to keep my ships like a little separated around around this boat. Yeesh. The naval optics here are bad. I need to get my ships together. We have to be very careful not to have our fractional fleets get caught out in the interim. Yeesh. All right. Stay put for the moment. Y'all will hang out here. This is your patrol position. Oh, okay. The Agrarian Star did unlock. But more birth than I thought happened. Curious. I do believe... Oh, yeah, they're giving chase. They want to do it. They are hunting down that steam frigate. And defeating it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I am fleeing. I am backing up a little bit. Yeah, we're not going to be able to stop that, unfortunately. Okay, so let's put some more cities behind this embassy. I'm sure we can get this thing finished. Yeah, I want it done next turn. So all the cities that are working on it now can start working on the emblematic district or whatever, you know?
Right.
Okay, so you're going to stay put for another turn. Let's resolve this nonsense. So, we must fight. Is it just 2 steam frigates on their side? It sure is. Well, I don't know if there's anything I can do here. There's not really any trickery, I think, to apply. What if they just never find me? Amabel, they found me.
Damn.
But I was able to hide far enough back that I think I'll get the first attack. Oh, no, that guy was able to pull... That guy was able to pull up from an incredible distance. Well, that's that then. That was pretty much my only hope was getting to attack while I was undamaged. And even then, it's like, it's not... I probably wouldn't have killed either of them, but I would have dealt slightly more damage. All right, yeah, the naval superiority, it is a problem, as it was for our enemy previously.
No, your ironclads are tougher than
Just barely,
right? Oh, okay.
Just barely. However, as we're pushing up here, we are going to get access. Like we're going to have access to new boats soon. Also, we're going to have access to aircraft pretty soon. Yeah, battleships and stuff. Once we have aluminum.
Aluminium.
The face of things is going to change. You know, aluminum is what it's called, so that's what I'm going to call it.
All right. So we're going to...
Yeah, so this is an okay collection of stars. What do we pull here in total? 7, 10, 13, 14, 15 stars.
Yeah,
they are at
14.3
14.3
out of 24.
It does, I suppose, say that right there. One of us can count and enjoys doing so.
That's true.
So we're about 2.2k ahead of them. Hopefully they won't wring as much out of this era as we did. And yeah, the time has come to move on. So look at all these fancy available cultures. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When we come back next time, we are making the final cultural transition of the game, and then hopefully figuring out a way to put these very, very long-lasting hostilities to bed once and for all. And we'll see you then.